Hello. Hell to the lows. What y'all doing out there today? Y'all ain't heard from me in a long time. I've been working, doing grown man shit, handling my motherfucking business. Hello. Just doing me. Living life, being responsible, trying to better my future, trying to secure my future. That's what I've been doing. Hello, I'm y'all always, all-time favorite security guard, Staton. Do it. And it's so good to be seeing and talking to y'all. Hello. Then had new jobs, new whip, new man, everything been gravy, a cup of tea, cup of sugar, everything spanky, hanky. You know what? I ain't been coming to y'all because I had to wait till I secured this job before I come back to go talk to y'all. This second job I had to secure. Make sure I come back and talk to y'all about the shit I want to talk to y'all about. Because people be trying to surf you on Facebook and YouTube, trying to see if you suitable for a damn job or not. That Angela Staton made me feel some kind of way about her and her transgender daughter, JB. To me, Angela Staton represents a lot of relationships that mothers have with their LGBTQ children, especially black women. I have been amazed on how many stories I have heard about transgender women and even gay guys and initially telling their black mothers that they are gay. It seems as though even though the women in their personal lives of just working, having a corporate job, working in America, trying to establish friendships. It's funny to me how black women will establish these friendships with LGBTQ queer people, like gay men, gay women, and transgender men or transgender women. But when their children become gay, it all becomes all in void, as though they were never friends with these people, or were they really friends with them? As someone say, are we friends or not? Are we really friends or not? Which one is it? Because what I've gathered is that these women make these friendships out of entertainment and just out of, people are not initially disrespectful when they meet people. I mean, that's just being a human being. But how do you really feel on the low? Over the past year, I have gotten rid of a lot of female friends. We didn't argue. It wasn't no fight because I don't do that. But it's just... But mainly a loyalty thing. But a lot of my females, standing back in hindsight, had issues with gays but they didn't have issues with gays in front of me. Angela Staton, whole going on Dr. Phil, before Dr. Phil, after Dr. Phil. I had a lot of respect for Angela Staton when she first came out, and when she did her book, was it Secrecy of a Housewife? She was talking about Phaedra Parks and talking about how her and Apollo had her and JB's daddy scamming on cars and replacing serial numbers, and she came out with her book to tell her story. I feel like whether I agree with you or not, everyone's story should be told. I was here for it. I was rooting for her. It wasn't until for some reason with some of our black Americans, African Americans, whatever you want to identify as, when they find these new lessons taught to themselves, or when they have discovery of new education or new way of thinking that they feel as though they're what's the word I'm looking for? They think that they're an extraordinary thinker. They want to condemn everybody else for they feel is dumb, and I've done it too, especially with religion. And they want to. Angela Staton, she talks about people being gay, and she likes to make these statistics from a gay person's standpoint of view, but she's not gay or not. Like, you can't really give statistics that you read. Some statistics I find out are wrong, and you can't really give mental illness, even though she has a degree in psychology. A lot of people have degrees in psychology and still can't counsel anyone, or still can't give correct information. You can't really talk from an LGBTQ person standpoint of view or think that you know. Angela talks about mental illness, but I want to understand on a bigger level the way she initially has two personalities when she shows up on social media. To me, that's mental illness. For you to come on and it's like she, as her son said, she becomes a bigot to some degree. And it's like she becomes indecisive with her decision making and with her thinking. Now, on one hand, you say that you have LGBTQ people that you respect and that these are your friends, but on another hand, you call it a mental illness. So you can't have it both ways. I think how she really feels like it's a mental illness is how she really feels about the whole community as a whole. Anyone that's her friend should really realize that she's not a friend. She may be a friend out of convenience. She may be a friend out of entertainment. Is there an inner queen that lives in her? Probably so, because it seems as though she has always been. She was on the T.S. Madison show, promoting her publishing company that she has at the bottom of her steps. And I know that T.S. Madison hated having her on the Supreme Queen's Court as a sponsor, as a black entrepreneur showing her business, and then 5 years later, she's being homophobic. She's making homophobic statements. She's making transphobic statements. And now she's lost all respect, and she doesn't understand LGBTQ queer issues all of a sudden. But you were just on T.S. Madison show in the Supreme Queen's Court, acting as though you were an advocate for the community, and that, you know, and then she talks about respecting black women, and, you know, she loves her son, but then you go on these lies and these rants telling your son he's a chick with a dick, and nigga, you got a dick, and I ain't gotta do shit, and bitch, fuck you. So she may have a mental illness. That's what I think, preferably. I think Angela has a mental illness. I don't think it's her son. If her son has one, it might be hereditary coming from his mother, which I don't think JBiz has no type of mental illness. I think Angela has the mental illness. I think Angela is a hypocrite, and she doesn't quite know. She's very indecisive about her thoughts. When she was on Dr. Phil, it's amazing to me how she did what some of my beautiful black sisters do, is overtalk everybody when they really don't. So you can't, when she was on Dr. Phil, you can't ask how to deal with this. And I'm not a fan of Dr. Phil. I just want to let you all know that. You can't ask how to deal with this, but then in the same token, overtalk everybody and say that you want information. Like, how do I deal with this? What do I do? How do we move forward? But yet you're overtalking everybody. That's giving you these factual statistics, that's giving you information, that there he's giving you outreach for resource, and you're overtalking everyone. The other transgender young lady, her name Janice, I think that's her name. You're overtalking her. You're overtalking your daughter that's actually advocating for your son. You're bringing other entities like politics in here. Whole issue is they bring up, I'm a Trump supporter. They said that you were a Trump supporter, and that was it. They never said it was a good or a bad thing. You elaborated and talked about how everyone was attacking your politician belief. No, they were not. They just made a statement that, you know, those things came into effect, or they were talked about during you all's interaction and verbal altercations you've had with each other. But she goes on so many tantrums, and she leaves the important issue at hand because she's trying so hard to deflect. I don't know what Angela Staton is deflecting from, or what she doesn't want to identify with personally within herself. It was alleged, this is alleged, that JB's father may have also been LGBTQ attracted. I'm not sure that is. I know that man's business. I don't even know none of these people personally. I just know what I've seen. But that was alleged just through a source throughout Georgia. And I see it. I didn't like it, nor did I respect it. Angela Lid looked very ignorant on Dr. Phil. And then the aftermath, and for some reason she said, well, you know, I know a lot of people have different parenting styles. She said a lot of people are nurturers. She said, I am a person, you know, I do have a mouth. I am stern. And my mama was the same with me. But my thing is, if you were such a good parent, I see all these people that are on Ball Alert, everybody that a lot of black people, they let you know how a lot of people, black people, that say all these yes lingos and girls and shade and girl, you reading me. They may use lingos, but they still have homophobic opinions and thoughts on the low. It has not amazed me, it did originally, on how so many people were taking gay lingos but were still homophobic. In the past 5 years, a lot of people have showed their homophobia, in my personal opinion, through social media, through content creators, through celebrities that said they were not homophobic, and you pulling out retweets of 5 years ago. Everyone becomes a hypocrite when it comes to this LGBTQ thing. I don't know hypocrites, but she talked about how, you know, you're not going to disrespect me in my house, as she should. She is a parent. She had her children. No child should be able to disrespect their parent. But everyone knows that a lot of black gay boys, unfortunately, and mothers do have these kind of relationships back and forth. It's a love and hate thing. They get along sometimes they don't get along with each other. A black mother and even a straight male son or a gay black male son will be very combative with each other. It's a history designed that a lot of black young men and their mothers have always lived with each other. There's been times my mom have had very bad verbal altercations with each other because a lot of children are who their mother make them to be. I'm gonna pause on that. Ayana already told y'all one time, a son is who his mother make him to be. A daughter is who her father make her to be. It is what it is. Angela Staton, if she was such a good mother, if she cared about her children so much. Hey Kenneth, Kenny B, what's up? Hello. I feel like Angela Staton if her stance was such that she fought for her children, she raised her children, she's been there for her children, you wouldn't be in bad relationship with almost all 4 of your children. Ayana Van Zandt would tell Angela, you are violent. You are a very violent person. You are violent. And my thing is, if you turned out so great, and you said, I didn't turn out so bad, and if you were such a great mother, you wouldn't have went to prison and left your children for those years because you were such a good mother and such a great adult that you committed a white-collar crime. They had to serve some time. So that's how much of a good mother, Angela, that you're not, unfortunately. I think Angela Staton really needs to understand that she has failed her children. She might not be the perfect parent, hey, who the hell is, but she is one of those mothers that have failed her children, and she needs to know that some of the things she sees in her children is because she has failed. I think some type of narcissism lives in her because she won't self-reflect on her issues and the mistakes that she made, and the whole time she's on Dr. Phil, and the whole time she's in these different interviews talking about this, and she is a clout chaser, I do believe, because she's always advertising something, a project she has coming up and forward in the future. It's always about how she feels. I lost my son. I don't want to be disrespected. I'm a black woman. She has not yet said, I made some mistakes as a mother. I committed a felony crime. I got put in prison. I had to go leave my children. Those are the things that Angela needs to say if she wants to move in better relationship with her children. And it'd be a different thing if she was in bad relationship with one of her children, but all of her kids, she has an older daughter who's a lawyer, don't even really deal with her that much. She comes inside town, dips out, say hello. None of these people are saying, Mom, you've been a great mother to me. They haven't said it to her personally, but me and my mother have had verbal altercations. I can say, Mom, you've been a good mother. I love you overall. Her children can probably say, she was an okay mother. She helped them to survive. But so far as being there emotionally, Angela Staton has abandoned her children emotionally. She's a very emotionally abusive individual. From the way she called her children bitches, hoes. Even in her latest live 4 days ago, you see her lunging at her daughter on her live and saying, let me call y'all back. It looks as though she lunged at her daughter twice. Angela Staton, you are violent. You are very unnecessary. As her daughter told her that at 17 years old, we need to get counseling. Angela, you need counseling with your daughter, and you need to take self-accountability. The thing about it, Angela, is even if you don't want to call your child by the gender that they want to be called, you can do like T.S. Madison's mom do. You can call Jay, use a pet name Boo, or you can say any other name but him, my son. That shows that you don't want to understand, even though you say you want to understand. You say you want to learn how to deal with this. No, you are a bully. You are verbally abusive. It seems as though through physical altercations, you have been physically abusive. I'm going to tell it to you like this. I don't believe in children putting their hands on their parents first. Let me get that point. Especially when they get to a certain age now. Don't put your hands on these grown adults. I don't care who it is. Anybody that's good enough to give a lick is good enough to take one back, depending on how blow that lick is to your face and to your head. I tell people, you don't be going around hitting grown-ass adults, whether they're your children or not. And then she did an interview with reality TV. I did not like it. I have forms of love and respect for my sister Reese. And Shauna Brooks, I love her. But they didn't ask those hard questions. I don't know if the interview was more for clout, more for clicks and views, or really to help, because they should not have allowed that woman to sit up there and call JB's son all that kind of carrying on. That was disrespectful. That was still showing, even though you all tried to talk about you want to have respect for the mother, you all are still not sitting concrete in your gayness and your activism as a gay person and holding her accountable. You all did not do that. I did not like the interviews. One of the worst interviews I ever seen. Chasing Reality TV, Reese, Shauna Brooks, the other people that were on the panel I did not know. In the future, there's nothing wrong with being respectively combative with a person and holding them accountable for that type of shit. You don't let them get up there, because it don't serve a person. It doesn't serve the purpose. Even when JB is being on Bigo, I did at one time wanted to take part of Bigo. I was reached out to by one of the popular content creator on Bigo, but I'm not going to be up there thrashing and clashing and slandering my LGBTQ brothers and sisters and my trans sisters and my trans brothers, but yet want to uplift the gay community and give all these facts and teas and stuff like that, and allowing people to call on my phone and allow people to come on my panel and misgender people. Those gay people are doing way more harm in the gay community on Bigo than any help. J-Biz has created a platform up there. I'm proud of her. I hope she continues to do great. But I haven't seen her allow people to go do that when she's been on panels. I don't look at everything on Bigo, but Bigo is very toxic. It's bringing the black gay community down. People like Super and all of those people, Shaky and all of those folks, even Charlie. You all ought to be ashamed of yourselves for allowing people to come up there and misgender these people. In the same respect, you don't want nobody to come up there that's straight calling y'all no faggot. I think that in the future, and I do believe this, there would never be an even line or respect for the black gay community, because these people don't want to learn. They don't want the education. I've discovered that, and I'm at peace with it. I don't get upset about it. I don't... that stuff can emotionally and mentally tear you down and make you physically sick. If you think about that shit from day to day, I do not hold that weight on my shoulders. There's nothing I can change. Racism will never go away, and the hate and the homophobia and transphobia will never end, because, for one thing, Kevin Samuels said something very important the other day. I don't fuck with Kevin Samuels. Same, I don't really fuck with Dr. Phil like that, but I still can identify with statements that they make on their social media platforms. The biggest issue I've discovered may not necessarily be racism, but that is one of the bigger issues that we have at hand in this country. One of the biggest issues that black people do face, and I do agree with Kevin Samuels, is the relationship between black men and black women. We have had a decline in melanin black children being born. Black men and black women do not get along. What you are seeing from Angela Staton, what you are seeing from J-Biz, what you are seeing from all these celebrity socialites and highlights and all these people that have been called out, to that have been exposed, as a product of black men and black women not being able to get along. This stuff revolts and relates all the way back to slavery. It was the breakdown of the black home. When you have people like Angela Staton, and you have other black people that side with white people about how black people are, when you have black people that get on these platforms talk about how bad black folks is, and it's way more black crime. I mean, we need to deal with our black crime and black on black crime with each other, not thinking that you're going to always be in crime and bad relationship with people that's in your community. You're not going to have crime. You're not going to kill somebody that's 150,000 miles away from you. The nearest crime or the nearest issue is going to be with someone that's in close vicinity. When you have people that don't really understand this, black people have a long way to go. It will not get fixed in none of these lifetimes. We can continue to still move forward in a decent direction, in a good direction, to be better than we was yesterday. But Angela Staton, to me, was the reality of how a lot of black mothers, unfortunately, start off getting along with their children. When their children are expose them that they're gay, that they want to be transgender. A lot of black gay men, unfortunately, and transgender women that are black do have these toxic relationships with their mother in the beginning, and sometimes it's a love and hate relationship on and off like a roller coaster throughout their whole journey of their relationship. Some parents do see the light and want to do better, be better, and want to be in a better relationship with their kids, and they find the resources, they get the counseling. I don't think Angela Staton is even open to that. she's very catch-22. She's very critical with her ideas and her statements. Her transgender daughter, she's very mature. She has very great words, just like her mother. I feel as though she will have issues and she will have dysfunctionality through the toxicity of her mother. It's an inevitable thing. It's showing up already, unfortunately. But I do feel as though I do respect J Biz for sticking up for herself, for holding her mother accountable and responsible, for not letting her mother get by with all of those transphobic statements, holding her to the fire, and she continues to do that. Well, you all, that's all of my thoughts on Angela Staton versus J Biz. I've been talking about this for a long time. I was very disappointed just with how she wants to move through social media, the career that she wants. She will never have a career with doing homophobic statements and transphobic statements and calling people trannies and low-key faggots on social media. Angela Staton never had a chance to be a senator. She never had a chance to be on the council because she, a common sense person that doesn't have mental illness, would know, I'm in Atlanta. I want to run for public office, and any form of public office, you should never bring up transphobic or homophobic. That's, like Dorinda Clark, like a lot of the gospel artists that started doing. I'm just going to stay away from those issues at hand. God just practice love. That's a safe statement to always say when you don't want to be caught up in your words, when you don't want to be exposed to possibly being homophobic or transphobic. She doesn't, as crafty as she is with her words, she still does not know how to use her words and her phrases carefully to run for any public office. Angela Staton has lost a lot of credibility. Any credibility she did has is now lost because of her transphobic, homophobic statements. But I still do hope the best for her and her transgender daughter moving in the right direction. Well, you all have to go. It's love talking to you all again. Love, peace, and soul train. And I'll probably let y'all later. Bye.